Hi, Elaine here for the week ahead reading for February 10th to the 16th. And basically, I've already pulled some cards, and then I will break it down to the Cardinal Signs, Fixed Signs, and Mutable Signs. I do them as a group. And then I pull like the week's activations. So once I go through these, I will then go through the cardinal signs, fixed signs, and mutable signs. And so you can click the time stamp below, or you can watch all of them. Feel free to check out your sun, moon, and rising. And for some reason, Venus is coming to mind. I don't always say that, but it is coming to mind, especially probably because Venus just moved into Aries this week. So that's a possibility. With that being said, if you like my content, please like, share, subscribe. You can comment below. Comments are always welcome. And then I am also running a special for the month of February. If you if you book a session, it will be 30% off to share some love. I feel like we all need a little bit of a boost or extra something this month, and it's easier that way, or I feel like I'm doing something for everyone offering that. So let's go ahead and get into the week reading for this week. So I felt called to pull a crystal card. I've been really enjoying these cards by Mystic Mondays. It is so this crystal is black tourmaline, and for some reason, I started to think of the full moon in Leo that is going to happen on the 12th. That is the 12th Pacific Standard Time. I'm pretty sure it is still the 12th, depending on the time zone, but I am in California, so that's what I know best. So I'm just going to go with that information. And this is black tourmaline, and sorry, it's I feel like there's going to be a lot of change or a lot of movement this week, and I don't know if the full moon has to do with that or play with that, but just keep that in mind. So black tourmaline is for grounding, protection, detox, and energetic bodyguard. Black tourmaline acts as psychic shield, protecting you from destruction, negativity, and psychic attacks. It is excellent at establishing boundaries and deflects unwanted mental energies. It is also used for grounding, stabilizing your foundations on earth, and making sure both feet are on the ground. With a natural electric spark, black tourmaline absorbs fears and transmutes those emotions into positive energies. Use this stone to balance your root chakra and detox any anxieties. It is also associated with Capricorn and the sun, which may be Leo energy as well. But it just feels like if you're moving through something this week, take a step back. And I know it's hard to not feed into the anxieties or the thoughts, but I feel like it is take a step back to really ground, find that inner strength. I'm not telling you to bypass your emotions. That's not what, or your thoughts, or anything you're experiencing. I do think that we have these experiences for a reason, and it is important to honor them, but it's also important to take a step back and look at the triggers and what is actually causing them to heal and to create something new from them. It's not something that you get stuck in that energy and it just becomes you. That's not why we have these experiences. And hopefully that makes sense. And I am while I was saying this, I was drawn to the strength and guidance and the healing energy. These cards actually, I pulled them for, so I was pulling these as guidance for the individual, or the, I don't know why I'm struggling right now, for Capricorn, the signs that I'm going to have timestamp below. And these came out twice, and they kind of came out in a pile. And when that happens, I don't always take them. I take like the group, or sometimes I take the group, or sometimes I take the one card. And when it fell out the second time, it just felt right to put it out for everyone. And so when I break down into the individual readings, if I'm drawn to it, I will touch upon them. But I feel like these go together in the sense that what I'm actually getting is change takes courage and strength. And maybe that's the Leo energy, and healing at the same time, because you have to learn to let go and trust and be able to move forward. It, we don't, change is not easy. And, that kind of gets us into anxieties and places that we don't feel stable. And I feel like this black tourmaline, sorry, there was a noise and the dogs are barking. Um, the black tourmaline, really helps like protect from those energies, and also grounds you and keeps you rooted to the earth. And maybe even this week it would be helpful to like do a root chakra meditation, and just really have that activated and grounded, and know where you came from and where you're going type thing. Okay, sorry, I always bump the camera. Okay, and then the next ones I pulled is the watering can, asking for help, sharing burdens, and buds. And this, this energy, I'm drawn to the bee. It just feels like sorry, the dogs keep barking because there's one of the neighbors are doing something and they hear them. So apologies. Okay. So the watering can, asking for help, sharing burdens, and buds, new beginnings, expansion. And I really feel like the watering can is kind of community, family oriented. And I was saying I was drawn to the bee. Bees work, in like the beehive, and create and take care of each other to a certain extent. Um, and, they have that community and help grow. Um, and I just feel like there's something about being, it's also going back to the healing of asking for what you need, and being able to release um, what you need to in order to move forward. and and it just feels like, because even with the watering can and the new buds, a lot takes on, like the energy takes to start growing and moving forward. And so, just keep that in mind. There's a lot to it, to growing and starting something new. And it was interesting because we got the support card, which also kind of goes into the watering can, the awaken card, and then optimism. And I feel like with these cards, because I'm also thinking Leo with the 11, and it's like the Leo energy is joy, um, being out there, putting yourself out there. And, we do have to, it is important to follow what is what your heart, what you want, what you need. And it feels very good to be supported. And I'm also thinking community on this and the optimism of everything. You know, it may be bumpy, but to have that faith that things are going to work out for you. Okay, so I think that's it for these energies for the collective like group. And I'm going to now move on to the cardinal signs. So you can jump ahead by clicking the timestamp below and we'll get into the reading. Okay, cardinal signs. So we have Kuan Yin. Use blessings of Kuan Yin to embody more compassion and healing, light, and then divine timing. So it's it's interesting because I feel like there is something along the lines of compassion and healing and moving through whatever you're going through. And it also feels like there is something important with timing. And I'm being drawn to the watering can and really the asking for help. And I don't know what is happening there, but maybe there is a situation that you do need to ask for a little bit of help with, or even maybe feel like you. I'm also thinking of the healing card, a situation that you need to heal in order to move forward. So right now we're going to pull some obstacle cards and then we're going to pull some solutions. Right now we have the King of Cups for obstacles. And so it might be emotional based. Now we have the Judgment card. Ooh, one moment. They flew. Okay, sorry about that. So we got the cards that flew out were the Page of Pentacles and the Moon, and they landed reverse. So I took them reverse, but as we get into the reading, I will let you know what I feel. And then let's pull out our solutions. All right, I'm going to take those. Okay, so let me just look at everything. And so immediately what I'm feeling with these cards right now is with the Page of Pentacles and the Moon being reversed, I'm being drawn to the healing card. And I just feel like there's a situation that is feeling a little unstable or unsure of, and maybe even something that you are overthinking and not really. It feels a little harsh to say unrealistic about it, but that's what I'm feeling. Like you're being um uh, I don't want to say it, but it feels like you're being a little dramatic over a situation, which may sound harsh, but that's kind of how I'm feeling that energy with the moon. And maybe even with the full moon, you'll realize where you are overreacting or not budging is another thing that's coming to mind. And so in that way, it is an obstacle because you are not able to heal and move forward. And I'm also being drawn to the optimism card. So it's like if you are stuck in this energy, you kind of don't have hope to, or the hope is a little, I'm pessimistic is coming to mind as well. And so now we'll move to the King of Cups. And, the King of Cups is emotionally mature. And I feel like that's kind of the energy that I'm picking up, is that we aren't being in that maturity, and we're not able to release with the judgment of moving forward. And I'm also getting drawn to the divine timing card. And I just feel like there has been a lot of effort, and it's not, you feel like it hasn't gone the way you want it. And I think there needs to be a step back to see that where you have been supported, and where there has been new growth, and what you are actually moving towards, or like appreciating those growths versus being stuck on the, but I'm not where I want to be. And I feel like this is a message I've said before. So um, hopefully it is not like broken record time, or maybe it just needs to be reiterated in order for people to move forward. And I'm being drawn back to the Kuan Yin, and it's use the blessings of Kuan Yin to embody more compassion and healing light. And I just feel like that, being compassionate for yourself, being compassionate for your situation, whatever it is, and not being, I feel like not being hard on yourself, and not being like, well, I should be this, and this, and have a whole list. And sorry, keep the camera. It's like an everyday occurrence. Um, and just being willing to, embody that compassion and give yourself that space and that care that you need. And I'm also feeling like in that space, you may actually find the solution that you need, or the support you need, because it's not, what's coming to mind right now is the having to do it all yourself. You don't have to do it all yourself. You have support, you have people that you can ask for help from, and it is within your reach, and but we tend to struggle because we think, we make excuses as to why we can't ask for help. And I feel like asking for help, or even stating where you're struggling, may be a point of, or like a pivot point, where you see, like, I'm being overly dramatic about this. And I mean, I do like being overly dramatic at times, but I also, you have to take a step back and come back to reality and be like, okay, I was just being too much, and I'm okay with it. And I'm not saying that being too much is wrong, but there's just and I don't even mean to say the but I'm going to keep saying it. There's just, you have to also realize that that's where you're at. Okay, so let's go to our solution cards. We have the Two of Cups, the Fool, the King of Wands, the Nine of Swords, and the Four of Cups. And how I'm seeing these cards come together is, you have to have a little bit of trust that things will work out for you. I'm also being drawn to the Fool and the Awaken card, and I just feel like that is trusting in yourself, trusting in the steps that you've taken. And even if there's like a dense fog that you think you're moving through, keep taking those steps forward. It is important. Turning around because it's gotten hard, or you can't see the next step forward, you just undo some of the work that you did, or stopping, just keep moving forward, even though you don't see the solution, or keep trying. You may have to pivot a little bit. That is true. step off to the side, however you want to do it, but keep moving forward. If your heart is telling you to do something, keep following it. I also feel like these two cards with the Nine of Swords and the Four of Cups, the Nine of Swords is always the anxieties, and the Four of Cups is basically boredom, not being able to see the solution though it's right in front of you. And it just feels like, it actually feels like journaling. It feels like making a list and pros and cons, what is actually how you feel, what you think, and what is the truth. Because, they're just perceptions. And like I said, I'm not trying to tell you to bypass your feelings or your thoughts, but they aren't truly you. Those are um, trigger points, perceptions that are being activated for you to move in certain ways. And we need to be able to transmute them, understand them, and move from there. And the Leo energy is definitely coming through with the King of Wands. So maybe with this full moon or Leo season, I'm trying to feel if there's any other Leo things that are coming to mind. But I'm definitely, and it might even have to do with fire because I'm also being drawn to the crown. Um, oh, maybe Aries season because I'm being drawn to the buds as well. That, or maybe Mars going, coming out of retrograde at the end of this month. But it feels like if you just continue to trust yourself and tap into that leadership and that knowing that you have in your heart, you will find the way. And I'm also being drawn to the strength and guidance card. And the I think the bottom line is trusting in yourself and trusting in the universe, and knowing that things will click into place, especially with the divine timing card. You just can't snap your fingers and make it happen. Unfortunately, I wish I could, but you can't. You have to um, stay in that positive mindset and keep moving forward. And like I said, honor your feelings, honor your emotions, honor your thoughts, but don't let them trap you. We are unlimited beings, and our minds tend to limit us. So just be aware of that. And I really feel like stepping into compassion and knowing that you are moving through these things and that it is okay. We all do. Um, and not to be so harsh on yourself. I'm just going to take a quick look at the cards and see if I feel drawn to anything else. I am feeling drawn to the moon, and I just feel like whatever it illusions is coming up, and I feel like subconscious limiting beliefs. So just be aware of those. And it's hard to say to be aware of it. But if you feel like you're moving and you get that tinge of fear, journal about it. Try to find where that fear is coming from. Because most often it's not the actual fear of like, I'm going to try something new. It kind of stems from something else, and it's important to root those out. And for some reason, I'm also having a feeling of like asking for help is part of the fear. So just be aware of that. Asking for the support, asking for help. Um, we are, we can all ask for the help that we need. And I understand that sometimes even that is the struggle. I'm also drawn back to the black tourmaline. I'm going to look at it real quick. The word negative came to me. So just, you fill into that, use your own discernment as to what is a negative and why, how it fits into this, because that feels important. And what I feel like what you need to protect yourself about negativity. Okay, beautiful cardinal signs. Thank you. Have a great week. And that is your reading. Thank you. Okay, fixed signs. We have the lotus, let go of challenges. It is time to bloom, and holy love as our guidance card. I will pull some obstacle cards. Well, we usually don't take all of those, but let's take them because they dropped and they look like some obstacles. Let's see if we can get a few more. All right, we're getting a whole slew of them. And then let's pull some solutions. Okay, so that feels interesting. Okay, so let's start with the lotus. And so with the lotus, first I was thinking water. And then, there's also the lotus basically grows in mud. And so it feels like to me being scrappy. And I know that's a weird way to put that, but that I feel like whatever this energy is, there has been a lot of effort put into it and a lot of struggle and a lot of can it, will it, is it possible, muddy messiness. But there's a lot of beauty there too because the lotus is blooming in the mud. They actually need the mud in order to bloom. And that, are not to laugh inappropriately, but, struggling is not easy. But the beauty that comes from it and the growth that comes from it, um, it's hard to say it's worth it, but it is, because you remember the struggle. And I think with this, it is really time to look at the beauty and be like, yeah, I did that. I struggled a lot, and look at all the beautiful things that have come, and not looking at all those struggles and what has occurred. With the Holy Love card, I always feel like no matter what you do, Spirit will always love you. The divine will always love you. Source will always love you. You are a part of it, and that is the truth. And to accept that and to move with that grace and knowledge, and knowing that we make mistakes We all do. It is all a learning experience, and there is always forgiveness and love. And sometimes with making mistakes, we learn to ask for help, and we also get new fresh starts. And that's kind of what this is feeling like, because I'm feeling drawn to the healing energy and the strength card. And so let's move into these obstacles, because we got kind of a lot going on this week. And so I feel like these cards together here is, the Eight of Swords, they're all thoughts. The Four of Swords, thoughts and rest. And I feel like with the Tower being there might be a lot of energy going on. And, there's a lot of butterflies and the lightning and the striking. And to me, this feels like that mud shifting in order for this death and renewal to come in, this lotus to come in and grow. That the foundations that were there is no longer there, no longer serving you. And instead of holding on to them, letting them go. But there's fear and anxiety in this. The Tower card often brings up a lot of emotions for people. One, because it's change, and it's sudden change at that. But at the same time, I feel like for the most part, you kind of know when you're going to have a Tower moment where it's like things aren't working and you keep trying to do it and it's not, but you're still trying to hold on to it. And so instead of you being able to let go and shift, the universe kind of is like, okay, well, now I'm going to make it happen because it's not quite working out. And I feel like you may be wanting to have momentum and movement, but this is a time to pause and regroup and look at the situation. I'm also looking at the Six of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles is harmony, exchange, and I feel like there's support coming in. It is in the obstacle position, but is it that you aren't asking for the help, that you are not allowing, that the universe is giving you an option and you in a way are resistant to it? And I feel like healing is needed. There's a lot of green there. Heart chakra is also coming to mind, and expanding. And when I said that, I feel like there's also a fear in that expansion of, okay, if I put myself out there and I'm out there with the awakened myself, am I going to be supported? Am I going to have the strength and the ability to do that? And I just feel like this is a universal confirmation that yes, you are. We have holy love, we have strength and guidance, and we have support. And that's not always easy, which I feel here. And I feel like we're also not looking at it in an objective, or we are overthinking it. And I don't think this is a place to be in our minds. And like I said, I'm not telling you to always kicking this. I'm not telling you not to honor your thoughts or your emotions. I definitely feel like it is a call to, examine them, feel them, move through them, but not to get trapped in them. And that is, the thoughts or emotions are energies. We can't hold on to them. We can't be plagued with them. We have to move through them, transmute them, and create something else. It is energy. It has to be transmuted into something else. And so, with the solution cards, we have, we have a lot of positive cards here. And I feel like, especially with the Seven of Wands, there has been a lot of resilience, and I'm going back to the mud of moving through, trying to make things happen, trying to be in that space, trying to have that boundary, trying to create, and not trusting or having optimism, but feeling like you're at that edge of burnout because you just keep trying and things aren't clicking. And I feel like, one, I'm being called to the Mars retrograde, and I'm feeling like also Leo. Maybe there's something with Leo there. I'm also feeling called to go Venus in Aries. And I feel like there is something coming. You do have to keep moving through it. It is not always easy, but there will be something to celebrate. There will be a transition and a regrowth, a new beginning. There is a completion here, and that might be with the Tower card, whatever happens this week. And with the Hermit card, it is a Virgo card. I feel like as things shift, you'll be at that point of, okay, now what am I going to do? And you go inside, you figure it out, you ask your heart, you ask your higher self. And I'm going back to this awaken card and knowing, all right, I did this, and now I'm going to do this, and I'm going to move forward because this is where my heart is. I am being drawn to the new beginnings with the buds. Definitely the death card and the optimism card. So I just feel like it might be a week for fixed signs. And maybe it's the Leo full moon that is happening on Wednesday. So just be aware of that. I'm just going to look at everything and see. I am being drawn to the Hangman and the light. I feel like, don't try to force stuff. Take the pause. Don't keep moving. If your mind tells you keep moving, question it. Or vice versa. If you're feeling like I can't do anything, take a step back and look at what you can actually do. Self-care is another thing that just bubbled up. It's like, if you're feeling at a low point and it's hard for you to do something, just, take a moment for yourself and give yourself some self-care too. Okay, so I am feeling like the messages are complete for our fixed signs, and I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Thank you. Okay, we have our mutable signs here, and we have Isis. Use the knowledge and power imparted by Isis to reclaim your true healing wisdom. And then we have the take the step back card. So let's pull our obstacle cards and then we'll pull our solutions. All right, first obstacle is the Star. And so Isis is also a goddess. Um, she is all about healing. You know, she actually feels kind of like the uh, death card in tarot, where it's like healing and rebirth and moving forward. And she's also, oops, and we got the death card, but I'm not going to take it right now because I kind of dropped half the deck. So, oh, there it is. All right, that's kind of a lot, but I'm going to take it. All right, and we'll start pulling solutions. But what I was saying is, so if she asks you to tap into compassion and healing and really moving forward with those items and really being the true healer for yourself. So that is important with Isis. And there's also about compassion and being compassionate with yourself for healing. And it's interesting because I think everyone basically has had a kind of healing message for this week and letting go. And it feels like a transition. Okay, so we have the take the step back card as well as guidance. And when I said that, I felt like don't rush forward. So, whatever you're doing, if there is something happening this week, um, don't just rush it. I feel like there is a moment to step back, and I'm also being drawn to the Star card. And it's interesting because the Star card is like hope, renewal, and moving forward. It is also the Aquarius card, and I'm being drawn to the optimism card. And I'm just feeling like there may be something this week that you sounds like a good deal and you want to jump on it, but isn't it just wait? Um, and hopefully that makes sense to somebody. But that's kind of the energy that I'm getting, is also to get organized and to actually fill out the situation. We have the Ten of Pentacles, we have the Death and Rebirth, the Tower, Five of Cups, and Two of Swords. Two of Swords is a decision card. And so maybe that is what we're dealing with this week as well, is a decision. And before you hop on it, take a step back and look at it and really run it through. Use your discernment, use your intuition. You do have the High Priestess card here. She is connected to the moon. So maybe there's something with the full moon as well. Because there's also, with the solutions cards, we have the Empress of, bringing something forward with, I want to say fertility is the word that's coming to mind, but really like birthing and creating something. The Hermit card, that introspection, that self-examination of what are we doing, and the intuition, moon cycles, following what your intuition is saying, and then with the Judgment, releasing. And I feel like there's part of that of releasing to kind of start setting something up. With that being said, we'll go back to the obstacle cards, and then I'll start pulling these all together because it feels I feel very changeable, which I mean, mutable signs are, but I feel like there's multiple things that are happening and it's kind of hard for me to sort out. So let's see. And I'm also feeling like a lot of thoughts and kind of like my thoughts are jumping different places. So maybe that might be just the energy, and I'm thinking Gemini as well. But I feel like there are definitely, so with our obstacles, I feel like there is a resistance to a change. And I know I said the decision making and to like kind of hold off and take a step back, but also look at what you're resisting. Why are you resisting that? What are you not changing? What shifts can you make to make a change, but you're not making it? Why are you, um, like with this Five of Cups, look focusing on this versus the good things that are beside you? You know, I feel like there might be multiple decisions and it might be multiple things that you just have to look at and decide, I accept this, I don't accept this. I want this, I don't want this. And the word impulsive is coming up. So I feel like there's also kind of like a need for a slowdown and to re-examine things. And maybe that's what the healing from Isis is coming from, and the wisdom, and to really like tap in and feel what actually needs to be released, what needs to be worked on. And the thing that is coming to mind is I am part of Spirit School with Danielle Sarank, and Andrea had a circle, and one of the circles was is like, what do you have to surrender and what do you have to take action on? And this is coming up. There are things that we need to let go of and things that we actually need to focus on and take an action on. And I feel that energy, and I'm also feeling this awaken card call me. And I feel like there is something that you have to look at that is within your heart that you need to know and move forward on. And I feel like with the death cards, you need to start moving towards that change and that death and rebirth. Yes, it is hard, but that card is pretty much calling me, because next to it is also the Tower card. And if you don't start taking actions, there, the universe starts to take actions for you. Um, let's see. I'm just going to look at everything because I feel like new growth is trying to come in. And for some reason, Pisces is coming to mind. I know we will be moving into Pisces season in a few weeks. But I feel like there's like a dreamy note that is quite not coming together. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm trying to follow it, but it's kind of since this is a collective reading, I'm not trying to understand it, but I'm not trying to follow it too deep because it shouldn't be specific. But it just feels like a little slippery. Like it is dreamy and not quite there yet. And I feel like there is something along of focusing on that versus focusing on the steps to get there. Hopefully that makes sense. Mm, okay, maybe it feels more disembodied, like it is a dream, but you can't quite feel it in the body yet, and you don't know the steps to do it. And so I feel like with this hermit crab, sorry, with the hermit card, it is really calling you back into the body and feeling it and rooting. And the black tourmaline is coming to mind with the um, getting grounded and embodied. And then you can kind of start building on that. Um, and I feel like the optimism is important, especially with the hope card, the star card being in one of the obstacles. And I feel like maybe with that dream or with that thought, that because it's not embodied, you think it's impossible. But, like I said before, thoughts are energy. We're all energy. And so it's like creating and then calling it into the physical. So needing to embody that. And I'm being called to the tower card. And I just feel like there needs to be some shifts and some healing. So look into that for yourself. Use your discernment, use your intuition, and know what shifts you need. And when I say healing, it can be emotional, physical, spiritual. It can be anything. And it also feels like limitations, like limiting beliefs, limiting thoughts, and not to get stuck in that. Okay, I'm just going to take a few breaths and see if there is anything else that the cards are telling me. Okay, so I feel like this is part of that embodiment and thoughts, and that's what the Empress is about. And I feel like she is about creation and bringing, embodying, and moving forward. And I feel like you you gotta trust it, and you gotta feel it, and know and trust. And is there anything else? Maybe with this full moon, things will shift for you, and you'll know. When I said full moon, I felt the tower energy again, and it feels like where you'll have ideas where to shift and move forward versus now you kind of don't, or you're not sure where to go. And I'm feeling like asking for support is important too. Keeping optimistic. Okay. I think that is everything. So thank you, beautiful mutable signs. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye.